Very good, girl. Very good. Okay, you guys, before we really get started, I want to say a few things. First off, I don't think I'm smarter than anybody. I don't think I'm cleverer than anybody. What I have done is I've done a lot of research and I have a lot of life experience dealing with people like this. Took me a long time to learn. I made a lot of mistakes. Hopefully, I'll help you guys to be able to prevent making some of the mistakes I made and give you some information you don't have the time to research because I dug up some pretty good stuff on all these people. Like Judge Ludig, it turns out, worked for Boeing from 2006 to 2020. And guess who else worked for Boeing? Yep, you got it, Nikki Haley. So no wonder why he doesn't want Trump running. He would love to see Nikki Haley run for president.
I had an ex-girlfriend like that. She was jealous. Super jealous, man. She used to always think I was cheating on her, even when I wasn't. I'm not saying it's her fault I ended up cheating on her, but she gave me the confidence I needed.
The girl I'm dating, her ex is a Navy SEAL. That sucks. That sucks dick, dude. That's the worst ex of all time. I never even thought it. You want to feel insecure as a man? That's the word. I never even thought of that one as like that could happen to me. I spent my whole life thinking, black guy, worst case on this. And by the way, I mean that with all due respect to the black community, dude. For real, I wish people feared my dick like that. I wish my dick struck fear into entire races. Nobody fears my dick, dude. Nobody fears my dick. Other than like women in parking garages. You get me in a parking garage, all of a sudden my dick's top of the food chain. See me lurking behind a pillar in there. Just with a GameStop bag.
All right, you guys, I want to talk to you about why I'm making this tape here or video. And the reason is because Joy Reid and her ilk like to do things to throw us off track. They do a lot of flowery language. They try and change the subject. And I want you to watch how she does it so that you'll be better prepared when other people try and do it, because it's a favorite tactic of the left. They can't argue the facts or their real point of view. So what they do is they get into emotional diatribes and they change the topic. So don't let them do it. I'm going to show to you where she does it and where how everything she says is meaningless, either in its context or its content or relevant to this topic. So let's go.
Insurrection. Today, Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold filed a brief urging the court to affirm the Colorado Supreme Court decision barring Trump. Griswold joins a long and growing list of figures who have flooded the high court with their views. From the Colorado voters.
Okay, so she says Gina Griswold joined a long and growing list of Democrats who have filed a brief with the Supreme Court. All right, so what? These people, all they're going to do, and she even said so, is give their point of view, which is basically just an opinion on the facts already established. The High Court doesn't want to hear your opinion, especially if you're just a lay person. And if you're not a constitutional scholar, then you're a lay person. And the only person they might give a little bit of credit to is Judge Ludig. We'll get to him later. But all these other people who are filing, they're not bringing anything new to the table. The judges are going to give that stuff to their underlings. They're going to look at it and they're going to throw it out because there's nothing substantial in any of them.
From the Colorado voters who sued to block him, to historians, and this week, perhaps the most high-profile legal conservative offered his position. Retired federal judge Michael Ludig.
So I did something I think most people do. I just assumed because he's a high-profile ex-judge on the appellate level and he's a conservative, then what he was saying was true. If he's talking about the Constitution, you'd think so. But let's check it out.
Michael Ludig wrote, Mr. Trump incited and therefore engaged in an armed insurrection
It led to deaths. It led to all sorts of injuries. It is a miracle there weren't more guns involved.
Against the Constitution's express and foundational mandates that require the peaceful transfer of executive power to a newly elected president.
Wait a minute. Well, there are problems with it. Before we get...
Okay. So this so-called peaceful transfer of power doesn't even exist in the Constitution. What the Constitution does is it lays out procedures, as was just written down there by that scholar, and it's plural, not procedure. It's many procedures that all lead up to the transfer of power. It's how the election is taken care of step by step. And the part where there was the riot was not where the transfer of power was. The transfer of power, actually, I found out, and I was really surprised about this, happens at the inauguration. And that is the moment of the transfer of power. So it doesn't even exist in the Constitution. So when he says, all this flowery language and talking about the Constitution and the transfer of power, I don't get it. This guy's a federal judge and he doesn't know this stuff.
In doing so, Mr. Trump disqualified himself under Section 3. Ludig added, every provision of the Constitution is part of the supreme law of the land, not the inferior law of the land.
Then he goes on to say, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, not the lesser law of the land. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for informing us of that, Judge Ludig. Thank you, because we had no idea. We didn't know the Supreme Court and the Constitution were the supreme. Oh, hold it. They call it the Supreme Court. What a waste of time. That's all he had in there. That's it. He didn't. Okay, so I'm going to break this up into two parts. The first part, we've established that Ludig has no credibility. He has ulterior motives. He wants Nikki to be the president so that Boeing can make a lot of money, of which he'll probably get a kickback. And Gina, all she did was flood the court with more briefs that they don't even want to read. In fact, they just don't want that stuff at all. And Joy, she had absolutely nothing to say. She won't. Anything she does say will be irrelevant or not regarding the Colorado Supreme Court case. So I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe and notifications. I really, really, really would appreciate it. I'm going to try and get this growing a little bit. And who knows? I think this is Jesse the Wonder Dog. Jesse's a wonder dog. Last thing I want to say is I think I can bring some stuff to the table that some of the others don't. I've watched some of the videos. There's a lot of good stuff out there, a lot of good channels, but there's also some stuff that I just don't see being put up there. I want to work on that and I really need your support. So I'd really appreciate it if you would. Thanks. Bye.